Warning, this video spoils the entirety of the chapters covered here within. If you wish to experience it without being spoiled, turn back now. Oh, oh boy. So Wano is over. We've known that Wano is going to be ending since pretty much the month-long break. Oda came out and said, when we come back from break, Wano will be ending. And we'll be going into further arcs. But the arc actually ended with 1057, which was titled Final Curtain. Very fitting for it being the final curtain of Wano. And I went over this in the Berserk and the Chainsaw Man reviews. I'm not going to do a walkthrough like I usually do, going page by page, breaking out what happens. I'm going to give more of like a retrospective look back at it, because I've read the chapter multiple times now. Any major thing that I want to point out, I'll remember. If anything just doesn't get brought up, it's because I didn't think it was important enough to bring up. So yeah, it's my own way of doing a personal spin on it. Whatever. But we do get a cover story this time. And it is Caesar attacking somebody with his poison gas. But if you look closely into like the kind of blob of the shape in the background, it's very obviously Katakuri, which you have to think Caesar is attacking a Yonko first commander to save Germa. This isn't necessarily an easy win or anything that he'll potentially even win. Caesar could very easily just get his ass handed to him right here, right now, and let Germa escape. But this does bring up the question, and I don't remember if it got explained. We do know that Queen and Vinsmoke Judge, so Sanji's dad, work together. But we do not know, at least I don't remember, if we know that Caesar, as a scientist, worked with them, because they were in the science group together. So we don't know if Caesar was part of that, or again, I don't remember if we know that. Even though if he was in the science group, it would make sense for some of the, why he's intervening against a Yonko first commander to save Germa. But for this chapter, I'm going to be going out of order, which is really weird. But I'm going to start with the first thing because it's kind of important. Yamato is not joining the crew. At the end of the last chapter, Yamato has this big declaration, I'm going to live the way Kozuki Oden did. But if you remember, Oden started his travels by taking a tour of Wano and getting really familiar with it. So Yamato was going to do that before setting off to sea and joining the Straw Hats, which is really sweet. And, as someone who had Yamato Nakama inspirations or ideas, kind of hurts, but you have to think this is still a story where we have to flesh out the characters we've known for a while. We have to give them payoff. And if you have a character like Yamato, who is this new-fangled Nakama, who just joined after 100 chapters long arc, only knew you for like maybe 60 chapters, don't get a whole lot of backstory. Yamato never really engaged with anyone outside of Luffy and maybe Zoro. So it kind of makes sense why Yamato isn't joining. It's also a thing, as of now, all of the crewmates have been established pre-time skip, with Jinbei being the only one who has joined post-time skip, but he was still explained pre-time skip. He was shown to be strong. He met Luffy pre-time skip, so it makes sense. This leads me, though, to not really a demand, because that sounds weird, more of a personal thing. With Oda subverting expectations after pushing Yamato to become a crewmate so hard, one, it feels kind of cheap. Like, Oda writing Yamato to be the new crewmate just to not do it, it feels really, really cheap. And I really hope he's not going to do a cop-out, and I hope he does not add Carrot to the crew. Because if you remember, Dogstorm and Cat Viper straight up told Carrot last chapter, you're going to be the king of fucking Zoe. Like, have fun. So, unless we're going to get a subversion with Carrot being like, no, I'm going to screw Zoe, I'm going to go join the Straw Hats. And I don't want that. Because she's been around since Zoe. And I've never really liked her ever since Zoe. So, even with the Pedro sacrifice and her, at this point, unneeded hatred for Perospero. Yes, he was written to be hateable. Yes, he is a villain. But her just blatantly hating him because he quote-unquote killed Pedro does not work for me. I do not like Carrot. So, if Oda ends up putting Carrot in the crew, I'm going to be very upset. But, at the end of this chapter, the Straw Hats leave Wano. So, I'm pretty sure any hopes for new crewmates are long gone. At least for people who are on Wano. I guess that brings me to the next point. Kinemon and Momonosuke. They are still upset that Luffy and all of them did not say goodbye to them. And they ride over to where Luffy is with Yamato and Tail. And they're talking about it. And Momonosuke is talking like, I'm the Shogun of Wano now. And Kinemon's like, exactly. So depending on what Luffy says, I might have to cut him down. They're talking all this big shit. And then when they get to where Luffy is, Momonosuke just breaks down into tears and begs him to stay. He can't do this without him. He's weak. He's nothing. And then you get to see that Luffy and them had been waiting for Momonosuke, Kinemon to show up because Usopp has been working on a new Jolly Roger. And they toss it down to Momonosuke, and Luffy makes the very big declaration. Like, in my opinion, this was the other page that was rivaling the end page for the video screen, so the panel you're seeing right now. It is Luffy declaring, if anyone messes with you guys, you point at him and you point that flag out to him and let them know that I'll beat their ass. And that moment, this is Luffy's first Yonko territory. Fishman Island was left ambiguous. It was technically Big Mom's territory because of what happened pre-time skip. But now that Big Mom's down, you can kind of assume it's going to be Luffy's territory because of Shirahoshi, Neptune, and all that. The fact that they helped beat Hody. So that makes sense. But, like, this is the first Yonko territory that Luffy has now claimed. And it is so fucking cool. This is our first... We got the taste of Yonko Luffy in the fight against Kaido. We got a taste of him, how his attitude was going to be when he was talking to Kid. Kind of just throwing around the thing, yeah, I'm the Emperor of the Sea, not you. But now we get Luffy actually being an emperor. He is claiming territory. He's making alliances with the countries, though. Unlike Kaido and Big Mom and possibly Shanks, we don't know that much about Shanks and how he claims his territory. They just kind of walked in, planted their flag, like, this is mine now. If you have an issue with it, I'm going to kill you. Luffy, and again, possibly Shanks, but also joining company with Whitebeard. He protected islands who needed protecting, and he protected islands who he wanted to. He didn't just go around planting flags saying, this island is now mine. It was more of a respect thing, like, I am not going to let you do anything to this island because it is now my territory. He let everyone live their lives. He didn't influence with them, but he protected them. That's what I imagine Luffy's going to do, and he just straight up tells them with that whole point the flag to them, and then see what they do. But we also get the big declaration that if Kinemon, Momonosuke, or Yamato want to join the crew, Luffy will come and get them. Which I think is kind of Oda writing... He's trying to have his cake and eat it too, I guess, where he wants to hint that Yamato and all them might become crewmates, but he's not going to let them be crewmates. I made the comment back when we got that conversation about Momonosuke. Momonosuke would soon become the greatest shogun of Wano, in which we see this chapter, he makes his first declaration. He says, one day I'm going to surpass Kozuki Oden. And Kinemon says, and I'm going to be right there with you. So ever since that chapter where we got that tease, I've had the opinion that Momonosuke is not going to be in the series for much longer. This is the exact situation I expected to be. The Straw Hats leave Wano, leave Momonosuke in charge. The vassals stay behind. All their friends that they've made on Wano stay behind. Wano is a newly healed country with Momonosuke to help heal it more. That's what I imagined was going to happen. That's exactly what is happening. We do get a catch up on a lot of the Straw Hats. They're all fine. None of them are severely injured. I think we see Zoro with his chest wrapped, but that's not that bad. We did see that the three powerhouses, so Zoro, Luffy, and Sanji, were watching the vassals fight Ryokugyu, and we knew that they were fine because they weren't bleeding out and dying there. But now we know for a fact they are okay. They're leaving Wano perfectly fine. And they are wearing new, more casual outfits. Can we please, okay, this is more of a conversation with, like, everyone, not just, like, a comment about the chapter. Can we please stop using the Fishman Island outfits to represent the Straw Hats? It's been over a decade, I think, since that arc. We really just need to move past it. They have new outfits, okay? We could have been using Sanji's Whole Cake Island outfit, and that would have been fine. We could have been using Zoro's Dressrosa, but no, we haven't. Can we? Okay, thanks. Another big point that I want to point out is not really major, but Shinobu. After fighting Ryokugyu, Shinobu went back to sexy form, as I believe she called it. Her thin, younger self. And something very similar happened to Raizo, where he got the exact same fight, he got the exact same punishment, but Raizo is not in skinny form. Which is very weird, because this is, I guess now we're supposed to assume that, like, this is not, like, Raizo being hefty or anything. This is how Raizo just is. This man is built this way. And, like, yeah, that's not a surprise for a One Piece character. They're all kind of weird. Like, we have a dog and a cat who are also human. But, like, as a person, as a human, Raizo does not look normal. Let's be real. Although he did take part in the longest running fight in all of One Piece, so I'll give him some respect for that. I'm trying to remember if there's anything else I'm forgetting about the chapter. It wasn't super major for a bunch of stuff that happened. I am forgetting one thing. The entire chapter is framed through the lens of a song or a child's storybook. And towards the end of it, we find out that after Denjiro decapitated Orochi for the last time, Orochi spoke. And he said, "The hatred of my clan shall continue on for generations." And Hiyori, not being afraid of the decapitated man's head, says a very interesting line which makes sense in Japanese, and I'll explain it more. The Kodozomi were born to burn. And obviously, to call back to Odin, Odin was meant to boil. And the name of the family... Sorry. The Kodozomi, or Kurozumi, is charcoal in Japanese. So charcoal was meant to burn. But the way the TCB scan says it, it seems more like Hiyori is blatantly saying every Kurozumi child is born to die. And that's not really accurate, because if you remember, we saw that Tama's family, or one of her family's gravestones, had the Kurozumi last name on it. So Kurozumi, Tama, possibly. Does that mean Hiyori's going to kill Tama? No. Because the official translation, the one difference that I think makes all the difference in this chapter, or at least for that page, is the word the. The Kurozumi were born to burn. That makes it seem like the entire clan. But if you just say Kurozumi was born to burn, you can make the fact that she's just singularly talking about Orochi. Which makes more sense than saying the entire clan fucking sucks. You know? There is more that I wanted to comment on. I'm trying to remember what it is. I see. All in all, this chapter was fairly solid. This is our last chapter for Wano, and it feels like it. It is this big monumental thing. Oh, I forgot the entire fucking thing. They're setting off for Wano, and Nami is trying to navigate them to a way that they can get dropped down. Peacefully, easily, whatever. And Law is doing the same thing because it's the most rational thing to do. You shouldn't just throw yourself over the edge of the waterfall. But Kid taunts them and says, yeah, of course you go the easiest route, you bunch of pussies. And then Luffy and Law both decide to yeet themselves off the waterfall. If Law and Kid are major aspects to the final saga, which I imagine they're going to be, they're being left on a fairly big cliffhanger. Like, we know they're going to come back eventually. And one thing that I forgot to mention in an early chapter that I saw on Twitter was, in previous chapters, Kid and Killer talked about the man marked by flames. And I said it was probably Sabo because he's burned, and it's the most reasonable decision. But somebody pointed out that Mad Monk Arouge has fire tattoos. The man marked by flames. That could be him. Because if you think about it, every member of the Worst Generation, except for 2, have had a big role in the story. And that is Arouge and Bonnie. Bonnie was on Marijois during the whole issue that happened with the revolutionaries during the thing that I'm forgetting the name of. So those are the 2 members of the Worst Generation that we don't have a whole lot of, not Worst Generation, the Supernovas that we don't have a whole lot of explanation on. We know she's queen of something, possibly, due to her age-defying fruit. We don't really know. So that's interesting. The Mad Monk Arouge could come back along with Bonnie. I think Bonnie will be used to explain to us what happened on the Red Line and what happened during that whole thing. But Arouge, I think, is going to be a very interesting one because we don't know a whole lot about him, and we don't know what he's about, if that makes sense. Like, we don't know if he's going to be like a Blackbeard supporter almost, where he's super gung-ho, kill them all, pirate king for me, or if he's going to be more of a lenient, laid-back kind of Luffy, or if he might be somewhere in the middle, like a Kid, where he's gung-ho and he's ready to fight and he wants to make himself known, but he's also not above just joking with someone and like taunting them, having a brawl with them. It's going to be interesting. Arouge is the one member of the Worst Generation, or the Supernovas, I should say, that even to date I do not like. Like, we never got that much explanation for him during the first, during the last arc before time skip. So it's going to be interesting. So, yeah. Like, every other Supernova got an explanation past then. And that's kind of what we're building up for Arouge. He's going to get that moment. He's going to get explained. We're going to see him more, probably. We have 2 characters left. All we need is one of them for an arc, and then the other one for another arc. And assuming that we're going into the final saga of One Piece, not the final arc directly, it'll be very interesting because we can have one in each arc. We can have Bonnie be a character that we see next chapter, because every chapter after the end of an act of Wano has always been a cut to what Blackbeard's doing. So it'll be interesting to see if that continues and we get to see what Blackbeard's doing right now, or if we get to see another member of the Supernovas, if we're not going to get that at all. Because I doubt we're going to get a chapter directly picking up after this one with the Straw Hats. It'd be nice if we did. But after the end of Wano, I think we kind of need a little bit of a respite from the Straw Hats. I know we're all probably itching to see where they go after Wano, and there's a list of islands they have to hit. There's Elbath, there's Laugh-Tale, and whatever other islands I'm forgetting. But we can detox for a little bit. We can go and look at what's happening in the world. We can have that tease of what happened with Sabo be a tease, and then in the next few chapters we get that expanded more. We could cut to the revolutionaries for literally chapters and just show how they're doing, have clarification for the whole Cobra thing. Although I do think that's going to be a more late game situation. It's very interesting because One Punch Man just ended the Garo arc or saga, whatever you want to call it. And there are still a lot of unanswered questions on that front. So One Piece right now is making me think like that. Like, What are some of the unanswered things that have been brought up during Wano that we need to explain? And that's going to be like Sabo, like I said, Blackbeard, what the fuck he's doing. Now we have Shanks as a total question mark on what he's doing, but he's probably going to be a major aspect of it. So, yeah. I think it'll be very, very, very interesting to see where One Piece goes in just these next few chapters. Because there are a lot of things Oda could do. We could stay with the Straw Hats for a while, which I don't think anyone would actually complain about. It's just more of a, if we cut away from them, then cut back, we get unused to them, if that makes sense. We detox from them for a bit. We forget about some of their antics. We forget about some of that, and right now we're probably taking it for granted. Like how Luffy's just reckless, how Usopp's a coward, how Nami is our navigator. But if we go to another point of view for a while, then we come back to the Straw Hats, everyone's going to be like, oh my god, I've missed this. I missed this dynamic. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking at least. I might be in the vast, vast, vast minority of people with what I want to happen in the next few chapters of One Piece, but, you know, that's my life as a One Piece fan. No one ever agrees with me. Even though I did predict two things with Gigan and something else I'm forgetting. Forgetting what. But there was a statement made by Oda at some point, and I think now's a good time to bring it up because Wano's over. We're going into the final saga now, and I'm going to say this here just so it's here. Oda, I believe, has made a statement saying One Piece will end when Luffy finds the One Piece. Meaning we're probably not going to get a time skip to like 20 years in the future where they're all old and badass and shit. We're going to end when Luffy finds the One Piece. We can still have Luffy be the Pirate King at that point. We can have... hell, I would even be down for Luffy not being the next Pirate King and it be like a Blackbeard thing. While Luffy's been gone, Blackbeard's now made a name for himself. He's claimed the title of the Pirate King. And now Luffy has to do all of his stuff to claim the title and get the One Piece and beat Blackbeard. It's a combination thing, you know? So yeah, that's what I think is going to happen. Those are my thoughts, my opinions, my breakdown of the chapter, even though I cut the whole walkthrough part. Which I should explain. It's not the fact that I don't like doing the walkthroughs, it's just, it gets kind of weird if I'm pointing out every little aspect as I go through the chapter, reading it word for word. When you can just go read the chapter yourself. I mean, it's free out. It's already free online. Viz has it out. TCB has it. You can read it. So I don't feel like my videos are supposed to be a substitute for it. It's supposed to be more of a supplementary piece. But yeah. This video I did independent videos because Berserk was back and that needs its own chapter. And then that looks weird if Berserk is partnered up with compilation video. Yeah, that makes sense for what I'm trying to say, I guess. It just looks weird if there's an independent chapter video right next to a weekly review video for Chainsaw and One Piece. Shonen right now is kind of kicking ass. I don't make videos of it, but I do keep up with My Hero, and shit is going down there. I don't know if you'd consider One Punch Man Shonen. If you do, shit's going down there. The Garo arc just ended with all that stuff. There's a lot of big changes happening right now in the manga landscape, and I look forward to reviewing them. Any new series that catch my eye that I want to review, I'll review. I do want to do a retrospective, I guess, on Wano. Not in, like, the totally not Mark way where you sit down and review the entire arc for, like, what happens. More of a me-style thing where I review Wano characters, put them in a tier list, maybe even the fights. Put those in a tier list. Because in my mind, if I don't remember a fight, the fight wasn't memorable enough. Like, I remember Zoro versus Killer from, like, Act 1 or 2. Because that was a big moment. But I don't really remember Luffy versus that sumo wrestler guy. It was like a page. So that kind of stuff might be in the future for One Piece reviews. Or just One Piece in general. That would be more of a Wano-based lookout, though. A Wano retrospective. I might do multiple in one video. Might even stream it. That could be interesting. We'll see. But The theories that I keep fucking teasing at the end of every One Piece video. I've decided that I'm not going to fully edit the videos. I'm going to do this exact same technique. Sit down with the One Piece border, a background for it, and just talk. For one of them, Film Red added a lot more hints that it might be canon, and I have those at the end of the script, but I want to have the theory based off of what I knew before Film Red came out. Because I haven't seen Film Red, I can't say that it was me piecing these together. Also, the more I've gotten into the One Piece fandom, one theory seems to be almost taken as fact already, so it's not really this big, monstrous thing. But there's a second one that I'm kind of interested in, because I haven't seen it tossed around as a serious theory, kind of more a joke. So yeah, who knows what those are? Me, I know what those are, and anyone who's close to me that I've talked to. But yeah, that's been my ramblings. That's been my review of Chapter 1057. Yeah. So yeah, if you like the video, let me know by hitting the like button. It actually helps a lot because it helps me know that you people like this video and that you guys actually watch it. If you're new here, make sure to hit subscribe because I do these for every video, even if it's a little bit late. I still make them. What else is there? Oh yeah, the comments, right? If you have something that I missed in a chapter that was major, something that you want to say about the review itself, just my thoughts on it, you want to comment on those, anything at all, drop it down in the comments. I read them all. I don't reply to them all because some of them I don't think need replies, like the ones congratulating me, saying good job. But I read them all. I appreciate them all. So yeah. Until next time, stay safe, have fun, and read more manga. Okay, guys. Bye.